Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Kuntres. We're finishing off Maamar Aleph in Perek Ches. We're going to learn for the safety and security of all the Yidden Eretz Yisrael and Yidden from around the world, and specifically Yosef, Yitzchak, Ben, Simcha, and for all the hostages. The Mitzvah Hashem should come home very soon. And for Rotem, Bas, Ariella. Specifically, we're going to try to focus at all our avodah through today's Shiur. Whenever we learn it, it should have an amazing impact to keep them alive, keep her alive and safe. Okay, so just a little recap of what we're talking about over here is that we're talking about Hashem's erech hapayim, Hashem's slow to anger. We said that Hashem he's slow to anger, or he's compassionate, or we said ultimately those 10 generations from Adam Rishon to Noach, and from Noach to Avram, another 10 generations that Hashem didn't do anything, and you're slow, so to speak, slow to anger, let things go, even though the people weren't really Yidden, even the people weren't doing everything they should. And it said in order that Hashem was slow to anger in rewarding the tzaddikim, meaning the reward they get, their full reward after the world to come, and for the Rishonim, that they get also their, so to speak, reward or their punishment later, and not necessarily. And that's why you see Rishonim that are successful. And because if we're talking about, like we've said before, that Hashem has the inner Ratzon that he comes to the Yid, and then, or like the marshal of the banquet and the feast, at the inner desires for the people at the table, and then the person that's very Ritzonah going against Hashem's will. I'm talking about like idol worshippers. Then how do we have idol worshippers that are very successful? L'cheira, seemingly the hashpah, the godly influence that's coming from Hashem into the world, barely reaches them. But this is what it means. Hashem is erech hapayim, so the anger also coming from a level of ultimately what we're talking about is coming from a level called erech hapayim, which is from inside of Hashem's ratzon, meaning which is above chachma, meaning there's the 10 spheres of chachma, bin ardas, chesed, gvur, tiferes, netzach, yisod, and malchus. And chachma is the top. So now in chachma, which is intellect, seichel will say this person deserves, or this person doesn't deserve, and it's a calculation. Whereas we're reaching, it's coming from a place of erech hapayim, which is above that. So that intellectual calculation doesn't need to take place, and then Hashem can give. And that's why that this is the idea of this slow to anger, that even though if you brought it into seichel, down into the lower levels of the person, or of Hashem, so to speak, where the seichel would say this person can get, this person cannot get. But we're talking about reaching a level above that, and therefore that can happen. It can get. Okay, page 133 in the green. Kuntres mine. So this is what our rabbis say in Masechet Pesachim. Amar Shiur and Levi. Rabbi Shiur and Levi says, Hani chaf vav heidu keneged me. So we say there's 26 heidus, and that's we say it in davening. It's from Tehillim. He says here, it's interesting. Actually, I found a mistake in the English. He says Tehillim 137, but it really is 136, and it's the one that we say. And then we say, and keep on saying, so we say it 26 times. So Rabbi Shiur ben Levi says, what are these 26 heidus? It's connected chav above Deresh Baruch Hu b'olamai v'lo nasan lehem teira v'zanash lemechazdei. There's the 26 generations that Hashem created the world, and He didn't give them the Torah, and nevertheless He kept them alive with His kindness. Meaning, in purpose, Hashem made the world is that we do Torah mitzvahs, and for 26 years He didn't give us the Torah, so there's no real Torah mitzvahs going on in the world, and nevertheless He sustained them. So how does that work? Sha'af al pi shahayu avodah zarah. Can we do shel enosh? Even though they're doing avodah zarah, like the generation of Enosh, hayu nizainin b'chazda shel Hakadosh Baruch Hu. They were being sustained by Hashem's kindness. Hainu b'chinas rav chesed, the abundant kindness, the arich anpin of the arich anpin, like we just said. Shemisham nimshach hashpah gam lever retain that an arich anpin can even get to people that go against the will. Meaning there's a arich anpin is a high level that even if you go against his will, he can still give you because it's not brought down into a level of logic. That logic would dictate you get to certain points. Some people do get, some people don't get. It's like a person that's very giving. Now, if they would go down into their seichel and think about it, so some people that give, some people that wouldn't give, or some people that give more, some give less. But when they have this mode of arich anpin, they're giving, and it just gives, and that's it. And everyone can get. And this is what it means. I didn't give them the Torah, and he sustained them in his kindness. Because Al-Pi Torah, because according to Torah, they don't deserve any hashpah. They're going against the Torah. They're idol worshippers. So they shouldn't be getting. So if we went according to Torah, then they should be getting. The Reisim Chachma, not because. But Torah comes from Chachma. Ubechachma yesh hagbala, and Chachma there's limits. Liyois nimshach hachesed davka ba'ofen kazeh v'lo ba'ofen acher. That the chesed, the kindness, should come in this specific way, not just any other way. That's when it comes into Chachma, into Torah. V'hainu kasher eser tzeinush al-makom, meaning that when you do what Hashem wants, Hashem's will, Hashem's desire, which is Torah mitzvahs, the tumshach lehashpa hachesed. Hashpah chesed u'ba'ofen acher lo tumshach. Of course, that Hashem's chesed will come in this specific way, and it won't go in a different way. Aval bat oisa nechafav deiros. These 26 generations, av shahayu over ritzeinei, even though they were going against Hashem's will, and those a lot of generations like this, lahem. Nimshach lehem hashpah shalei al pi Torah. They still got hashpah, still got Hashem's influence. Hashem still gave them the godliness they could survive, even though it wasn't according to Torah. Coming from Hashem's abundant kindness. That even though the Torah wasn't given, Hashem still gave them life. Because this was coming from a level of Hashem's abundant kindness. Because if it was coming from a level of Torah comes from Chachma. So logically, the logic would dictate that you can't give them if you're not doing what Hashem wants. All right. My baby just on the floor here next to the heater. Okay, so Kitzer. In Nikas HaSitra Achra, the Sitra Achra, the way it gets its life force from, is one from the many contractions. So it gets contracted like the mashal we had of the meal, of the banquet. And in the banquets, even the waiters get. I saw a video of the kinnis, actually last week, a guy, he came early, and he showed a video of all the workers eating, and he goes, just to feed the waiters is a whole process. There's so many waiters, but you wouldn't say that the purpose of the banquet was for the waiters to eat. That's just a side point, and that's one. So there's many tzimtzumim, and ultimately they also get, but it's not the real intention. And the second way the Sitra Achra can get is makif elyon, from the higher makif, like we said before, something that surrounds, doesn't internalize. Can't really be internalized, processed, and so also that they get from this makif, and so therefore it can go to everyone, and everyone can get. So hasara derech Adam and Noach, the 10 generations from Adam till Noach, and Minoach ad Avram, and from Noach to Avram, nizanim b'chazda shel Hakadosh Baruch Hu, they were sustained by Hashem's kindness, which is this level of arich anpin, slow to anger, but really coming from a level of above. In Hasidic terminology, we talk about it. It's called like keser. Keser is crown, which is just like a crown is above you, it's not within you. That's Arach Anpin. In Kes, there's two levels. And one of the levels is Arach Anpin. And Kes also related to, in terms of like how we're talking about it, is Ratzin. You have Chachma, but above Chachma is Ratzin. Ratzin is a desire. Not a desire like a desire for pleasure, like for food. It's a deeper desire, like a very deep, just like you have a desire to live, it's deep. It's not like it's deeper than your desire. Logic. Because logically, some people say things. Logically, this should happen, this shouldn't happen. It could be very cold. But the desire to live it is very inner, natural desire. And that's where it comes from, so to speak, in Hashem's version of it, and he gives to all of us. So yeah, and even for the people that go against Hashem's Ratzon. Which really comes from a level of Hashem's infinite light above the Seder Shtalshalos. Again, the Seder Shtalshalos coming from Chachma, Bin Das, it's logic, it's orderly, and it's a descent in an orderly fashion. But what they're getting is from a level of Ein Sof, which is above this whole Seder Shtalshalos, above this order. That's how they can receive, even though they're not doing Hashem wants. Because if you come to Seder Shtalshalos, it doesn't really get. They shouldn't be getting. Say logic would dictate, Seder Shtalshalos would be a line of people coming to get money from someone, and the guy's asking all these questions before he gives everyone. The man Seder Shtalshalos is just everyone goes past and just gives. Doesn't matter. One person could be rich, one person could be poor, one person needs $1 million, one person needs $2, and he gives the same $1,000. Because on that level, above Seder Shtalshalos, it's irrelevant of what we do. And the hashpah and the godliness that comes to us is not according to the dictates of Torah, but from this abundant kindness. I think we'll stop here, and tomorrow we'll start chapter 2, Parak Base. I think it's better instead of starting in the middle and keep on going. I'll do it that way. So I just want to give everyone a happy Hanukkah, and they should continue to shine the light of Hanukkah. And one of the main ideas of Hanukkah, the Yavanim that the Greeks wanted to destroy the learning Torah of Hashem's Torah. So Mitzvah Hashem, through our learning of Torah and learning it in a way that understands Hashem's Torah, connecting to Hashem, connecting to Torah mitzvahs, it should overcome the obstacles of what the Yavanim try to do, and the Yavanim of nowadays. Mitzvah Hashem, we should be very successful. Everyone should have an amazing day.